it's like a rabbi. Are we live?
Yes.
Beautiful. So we say Chag Sameach to our visual audience from all over the world. Yesterday I got an email from Singapore.
Wow.
Singapore and I don't know from other places. So we say Chag Sameach to everybody watching the class live. Okay, so every time the holiday comes, many people buy a new suit. Thank you. Many people buy a new suit for the holidays. I'm not saying that I don't buy a new suit for the holidays, but you know what I do in honor for the holidays? I always try to find new merchandise to share with the Kahal Kadosh. Merchandise means spiritual words of Torah. Okay? You already know the song of Tu B'Shvat, all right? So every time we try to find something new. And it says, the more we invest in our spirituality, so our children will become better and better. It's a domino effect. Because as a father, how much you teach Torah to your son? I hope a lot. But sometimes, parents, right, the answer is not enough. Not enough. Why? Because if we let's go back 30, 40 years ago. I know that some people can go back 60 years or 50, but let's do between 30 and 50. Okay? The challenges of today are not the challenges of a generation ago. Kids have a lot of challenges. Thank you.
There's an echo.
There is an echo around the room? So check the PA system, please. Thank you. Thank you. So, in order for us to give the children the tools of survivals, kach gam haim, so happens to be in life. The more we invest, the more the results. And I'm not talking about investing in working. We discussed this last week on Tuesday, the day that we read the parasha of the man, and we explained that not for working more, the person will earn more. But the investment that I'm talking about is investing on ourselves. How do I invest on myself? I try to become a better person. I try to become a better father. I try to become a better husband. And never separate being a better father with being a better husband. They go together. Because the moment that you split husband and father, then we get into trouble. Because everything that goes in a marital relationship, and I don't mean the physical aspect, but I'm talking about in the emotional aspect, has a guaranteed result and outcome on the children. Not only that, did you ever see a tired tree? Most of the time we don't see it. Especially in Florida, that the trees are always green. But if you're from New York, what do you see every season? Tehiyat HaMetim. The trees are beautiful, then suddenly the trees are literally naked, the leaves are yellow or gray, and then the next season they provide again the beautiful color, the beautiful fruits. It says here, every season the tree provides new fruits. Also the life of the person, we need to provide good fruits every season. What does it mean? I think that this is referring to a person reaching a certain age in life. A person says, you know what? I lived so many years as a good Jew and I learned so much Torah that when I retire, I can come down. I don't have to do so much. And I think that the message of Tu B'Shvat is that we don't stop. We don't stop. The opposite. The older the person becomes, the more we need to invest. Why? Because we're getting closer to meet the Creator. And I hope nobody's going anywhere. Haz v'shalom. Okay, but the idea is, like the tree provides, we also need to provide. And I repeat again, the providing in this case means doing Avodat Hashem, serving Hashem with joy, learning Torah, doing mitzvot, etc. Same thing as I said before with the water, which we can talk about the fish for a moment. where does the fish live? In the water. What happens if you take the fish from the water? It doesn't make it. What happens if you don't irrigate the plants or the tree or the fruits or the vegetables? They die. Has v'shalom, same thing with the life of the person. A Yehudi who doesn't learn Torah, how can he remain alive? How can we remain alive? And forget about us remaining alive. What do we have to give out to our children if we don't irrigate our neshama with Torah? So I think that with this, some of the basic ideas of now we understand the concept of the tree and the person. One more. One thing that trees need, they need to have the light of the sun. Hazaku Baruch. Did you read this at home before? Okay. Okay, that's what I'm going to talk about now. What does the sun represent? Short answer, energy, life, clarity of the mind. There is a moment of darkness and there is a moment of light. And we all go through this, Rabotai. If you're a human being, you're going to go through some moment of darkness. Look at this screen. Darkness. Look at this screen. White. We go through these changes on a regular basis. Some moments are dark and some moments are light. But once we see the clarity, how good do we feel? How great do we feel? We need to know that the clarity in this case refers to our emunah and bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hurricanes are able to destroy trees. And in Florida, we're not foreign to this concept. Especially in the summer, if you remember, last summer, last Erev Kippur, last Selichot, we had a hurricane. In the middle of the Selichot, Aseret Yemei Teshuvah was the best Kippur. Everybody came to Shul. All day long. Not that they don't come, but you saw a lot of people. Why? Because we heard the sound of the hurricane, which is a godly message, by the way. As King David writes in the book of Tehillim, Ruach Se'ara Osa Devaro. Hurricanes get activated by Hashem's commandment. So what do you see? You saw a lot of devastation. You see a lot of palm trees. You saw a lot of branches. You saw a lot of wires. But interesting enough, what did we see? That a lot of trees were able to remain strong. How? If it was 120 mile per hour wind, to the point that they had mentioned that Aventura should be evacuated because the water surge was going to be 12 to 15 feet high. Like a mini tsunami. This was the statement of the Hachamim of the Weather Channel. So many people left. Many, I said, 90% left. I stayed because the captain of the ship is the last one to leave. So Baruch Hashem, we stayed. We did minyanim in the buildings. The police didn't allow people to roam on the street. There was a curfew from 7 to 7. So Baruch Hashem, we did not miss minyanim. We had selihot. We did whatever we need to do. The shul opened on Shabbat day because was mid-hurricane. Wasn't dangerous, but for the afternoon was very critical, so no one came, obviously. Pikuach nefesh, not a big deal. We made a minyan in the building. And we did minha gedolah, so we had Sefer Torah. So you know, if a person finds a way, the Gemara writes, Baderech she'adam roseh lalechet molichin oto. Tell me, where do you want to go? Imagine yourself, you take a taxi, okay? Where to? Today people take Uber. So they already know where you're going in advance. But let's say you take a taxi. Okay? Where to? That's the first question they ask you. In Shamayim is the same thing. Where to? Baderech she'adam roseh lalechet. You want to go to the synagogue? We'll make sure you're able to make it. You want to go to a Torah class? We go. You want to go, Haz v'shalom, to the opposite, is also available. That's why the Gemara says, Habale taher mesayein lo. So it says here that the hurricanes or the strong winds represents the hiccups that life at times brings upon the life of the person. With a strong foundation, we are able to live and to overcome difficulties and challenges of life. Now, I'm going to switch the topic and I'm going to talk more about a physical aspect. I am not going to go through what I did last night that took an hour and a half, at least.
Oh, we have time.
I know you have time. I have time, but I have a ladies' class after this class, plus Shalom Bayit, business dispute, wedding, and a little situation to deal with. So, Baruch Hashem, my day is already gone. But for good things, most of them at least. So, we already discussed several times. I'll take a part of it. Hazal Baruch. Thank you. I'm going to go over a couple of food items. Share it, please. If somebody did not say Shehiyanu on the carob, we have. Cut it in half. Don't bite it. Cut it in half. Give it to somebody else who did not say Shehiyanu. If you did not say Shehiyanu last night, say Shehiyanu on the carob. We have a free sample available. Say Shehiyanu, carob. Shehiyanu, did you say? Beautiful. If you did not say Shehiyanu, there is one more piece. Sure. There is more on the table.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So, since this class is being recorded, I would like to go quickly over 3 or 4 things. Some of them I mentioned them before, and some of them I mentioned them in the Gemara class upstairs. But I think that the Kahal will benefit from it. So we already discussed yesterday the importance of saying berachot before we eat. We also discussed yesterday the proper way of saying the berachot in a calm and a paused manner, making sure to pronounce Hashem's name, to say Melech HaOlam, and obviously to know which beracha we need to say before we say. Because if you're going to say a beracha, Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam, She'akol Niya V'Tbaro, Borei Minei Mezonot, or Hamotzi Lechem Min Haaretz, a person needs to know which beracha you are going to say. And make sure that the food is ready to eat. Don't say the beracha and then you open up the candy wrapper. Open the candy and then say the beracha. And if you don't know which beracha to say, there is an app called iBeracha, or there are many apps that gives you berachot of all food items. There are booklets available with berachot, so that should be very easy. As we mentioned inside, the order of the berachot, and I'm clarifying this one more time, I'm referring when there is no bread on the table. When you have like now the breakfast, you have mezonot, ta'ez, adama, she'akol, there is no wine on the table, obviously not, but if you like to drink some wine at home in honor of Tu B'Shvat, is encouraged to drink wine, which is also good for Shalom Bayit. But only when you drink wine with limitation. Because the wine, the Gemara writes, ענבי הגפן וענבי הגפן, דבר נאה ומתקבל. The marriage is the mixture of 2 elements, 2 halves that become one whole. It's a process. When you drink wine, I ask you a question. Did you ever see how wine is made? Can you drink wine as soon as they squeeze the grapes? Why not? Hazaku Baruch. So there is a process, and there is a filtering system that the wine goes through until now you have the beautiful bottle of wine that you buy in honor of Shabbat. And I'm careful not to say any specific brand because I did not pay for advertisement. Okay, so we're talking about kosher wine. I know you want me to say. No? Okay. Oh, relax. What about Baron Herzog? Manischewitz is in a retirement mode. I know that Kedem has a free commercial. Hadesh Yamenu Kekedem. You know, every time you take the Sefer Torah, Hadesh Yamenu Kekedem. You have Rashi wine. Aventura. Sponsorship is available. Beautiful. Let's continue. Carmel from the Holy Land, of course. Now, what happens with the wine? The wine, you see the ultimate result once is in front of you. So is marriage. Marriage goes through the same processes of wine. We all make mistakes. Husband makes mistakes. Wives makes mistakes. And our mission is to do what? To recognize the mistakes, to rectify the mistake, to apologize, which is always required, to forgive, to forget, and move on in life. But we all know also that, and this was sent to the Kahal via email, how different types of foods represents different types of the human body, and different types of foods have the power to heal the human body. But I will tell you one thing, irrelevant of the interesting concept that I'm going to speak about it now, one mandatory requirement is to recite berachot before and after. Because at the end of the day, if we believe and understand that the food has the healing power, but we need to supplement that natural healing power by saying the beracha. As we mentioned before, when a person eats with saying a beracha, and the beracha is recited properly, you know what I shared with the Kahal today in the morning? From the Peri Es Hadar, which is the traditional reading on the night and day of Tu B'Shvat, and it says that whenever we say a beracha, the berachot come from the planet Earth, and they go to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. ומכריזים ואומרים, הרי זו מתנה למלך שפלוני שלח. God, this is the gift that Mr. So-and-so sent for you. זוהי המתנה במילואה כראוי, and the ultimate gift is, the Zohar says, when the gift is properly wrapped. Let's say you're going to give a gift to someone. You go to a wedding. What, do you just give $50 in the packet of the hatan? Obviously, that's tacky. I'm not sure if 50 is enough. 500 is better. Okay? Okay, with 500 without the envelope. Okay. He says that without the envelope for 500. I tell you, Hasbi Shalom, it doesn't matter how much you give, but is the action, is the thought. Imagine yourself, you bring a gift to your wife in honor of the holiday, in honor of the birthday, wedding anniversary. You're just going to bring an Amazon, here is a gift for you. And if you buy from Amazon, you're going to pay the $5 extra. Don't be cheap and do a gift wrap. Mazbut? I'm a husband too, don't forget, I'm not a malach. I'm a malach outside of my home. In my home, I'm the real me, which is debatable what part I am. I hope that I'm toho kevaro. I hope that I'm equal at home. But my wife sometimes tells me, Yosef, you're not giving a lecture at the synagogue. So you understand the message. Okay? Anyways, so it's all in the wrapping. It could be a simple gift. Maybe we don't have the kavanot. What kavanah to have in each word of the beracha? For example, I tell you one kavanah. One kavanah, let me see if I find it quickly. On the word ata. What's the meaning of the word ata? You. You. You know what the Zohar says? That when you say that word, you should pause and think, who is you? We know the answer. But sometimes we are in a rush to say the beracha that we forget to think. who I'm blessing now. And that's why yesterday I mentioned the beracha needs to be split into 3 parts. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam borei minei mezonot. Minimal thought. I'm not telling you have all the Kabbalistic thoughts available in the book of Shara Kavanot or the Peri Etz Chaim. What I'm telling you, simple exercise. Take 3 seconds or 4 or 5 maximum to say a beracha. You'll see how different your berachot will feel. You'll see how different you will start praying better because you're not in a rush. We're not running, we're not escaping. So it says the Zohar Kadosh, going back on the beracha, on the concept of beracha, Zoya matana. And it says that there is one bonus round when it comes to giving gifts to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How thankful are you to your employer? It gives you a paycheck every week. It gives you hopefully benefits, and you have a peace of mind. You provide for your wife. You provide for your kids. Or if you are the employer yourself and you have a good salesman that travels and makes good sales and helps your family grow financially, so to speak, are you going to be ungrateful or are you going to be grateful? You're going to be grateful. So what is the ultimate gift the Zohar asks to give HaKadosh Baruch Hu? There are many gifts, but you know what the Zohar says? A complete beracha. What's the difference between a complete beracha and a beracha that is an excellent beracha? Complete beracha, as the Gemara writes and the Halacha writes, we say Hashem's name. Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, she'akol niya v'yitbarach. But you know what the Zohar says? You want to upgrade your berachot? The Zohar says, Beracha she'onim aleha amen. Say the beracha loud to enable someone else to say amen. Ki kol beracha she'anu aleha amen, the Zohar says. A beracha that someone answer amen, zoi beracha b'milu'a karaui. You want a triple A beracha? Say the beracha loud enough so somebody else is able to answer amen. Unbelievable, unbelievable message that the Zohar Kadosh brings in this particular day of Rosh Hashanah La Ilanot. In the ladies department, this is a very common concept known as berachot party, right? They say berachot, and every lady says a beracha loud, and every lady answers amen, and usually they do it for refuah shelema or mavdil le'ilui nishmat. It's a very popular thing to do. The Zohar goes further, and it says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a great affinity to the person who makes the effort of saying berachot properly. And how does HaKadosh Baruch Hu shows their love to this person? Is a pasuk. Ki mechavedai achabed. Those who honor me, I will honor them. Ubozai yekalu. But Haz v'Shalom, those who take the beracha as Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Best Buy special, yani no attention and no nonsense, but Olam says, you neglect me, I'm moving on. Haz v'Shalom.
Ubozai what?
Ubozai yekalu. Continues the Zohar Kadosh, and it says, in this particular concept of the berachot, we have an interesting concept, which is mitzvot of the Torah. And among the mitzvot of the Torah, there are 2 mitzvot that are related. One mitzvah is considered the mitzvah of kil'aim, and the other mitzvah, the mitzvah of sha'atnes. So in the Tu Bishvat reading, Peri Es Hadar, the Zohar, for this special day, talks about these two elements. What's the meaning of kil'ain? Kil'ain is the prohibition of mixing two items which are a separate creation by itself. And if you graft them, there is a Torah prohibition in this concept. Why is it called kil'ain as the Zohar Kadosh? Kil'ain, listen to the Hiddush, milashon kele. What's the meaning of kele in Hebrew?
Prison.
Jail, prison. It says that every item that a Kadosh Baruch Hu gave the blessing for it to exist in the world, it comes with the DNA of a Kadosh Baruch Hu stamped in its item. The other day, someone sent me an email, not an email, a small video of a cute child that was explaining how in the apples, I'm not sure if you have it, you see Hashem's name. Unfortunately, I don't know where this video is, but if I find it, I'll share it with the Kahal. Fascinating concept, the seal of, you have it? If you have it, we'll play it to the Kahal. Anyways, I continue talking. What example the Zohar brings in this concept of kil'ain? So, thank you so much. Okay? So, we're going to play this video. I'm going to put it in the microphone so those watching us can watch it and those listening can listen. So, I'm going to put the mic. I'm going to make it louder. Okay, ready? Fascinating. 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 Let me press play.
That Hashem signs his name on every apple that he makes. Now, this apple's cut. So, if you look at it closely, you can see that there are 10 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then there are also 5 holes with the letter K. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we turn the apple over. The step is the Vav.
Okay, so hold on, you're doing Hashem's name. So you did Yod.
Hey and Vav.
Okay, and then
Now the next hey. 1 bump, 2 bump, 3 bump, 4 bump, 5 bumps. Now I'll just prove to you that Hashem signs his name on every apple that he makes.
I think this was the best part. Thank you so much for providing the video. So for those listening and not watching live, this video showed how in the apple, in the center of the apple between the dots, the seeds, the bumps, and the stem, right? On top represents Hashem's name, Yod Ke, Vav Ke. And this is something beautiful, cute, but that's exactly what I'm saying. Kil'aim, it's called Kil'aim because it's a man-made creation. Does not carry the godly essence that every aspect of creation carries. Because it doesn't have the God's light. It doesn't have godliness. That's why you cannot wear a suit that contains shatnez. Shatnez, it's called in the Torah, kil'ain. And the Zohar asks, why I cannot wear shatnez? Short answer, separated, shatnez, wool is kosher, linen is kosher. We mix them, we create an explosion. By the way, shatnez is Rashi Tevot, Satan Az. Shatnez, Satan Az. The Yeser Hara is a praising creation. That's the reason why the Zohar says, and it's in front of me, represents the Avon of Cain and Hevel. Remember the incident of Cain and Hevel? The Zohar says, what was the offer of kain. Pishtan, linen, dry linen. Kain says, God is spiritual. Why should I waste money on him? Let me give him the cheap item that I have on the ground. Hevel says, no. Umehel behen, the best sheep. So the Zohar says clearly, Cain offer linen, Hevel offer wool. When that fusion happened the first time in the history of the world, what happened? It ended up, God forbid, in a tragedy. And from here we understand, which is actually a mitzvah of the Torah, Ubeget kil'ain sha'atnes lo ya'ale alecha. Not only that. Now, with this, we understand what the Zohar says, that a person who prays with sha'atnes on their body, the prayers don't leave the body. Kil'ain, jailed. You understand? The body is in jail. And do me a favor, don't trust the label. When the label says 100% wool, you need to know this. This is referring only to the shell of the suit, to the fabric of the suit. Does not include the thread, does not include the shoulder pads, does not include the lining, does not include the thread, if it's machine or handmade, the thread for the buttonhole or the thread for the buttons, and many different parts of the garment, especially a new kid on the block, recycled shoulder pads. That many times is found to contain sha'atnes. So this is something simple that the Zohar says for us to understand that every action that we do can have a reaction and will have a reaction in a person's life. There is so much more to say. I'll go 3 more minutes with your permission. I started to mention before how godliness is revealed in all elements of the creation of the world. We know, and I mentioned this on Shabbat afternoon, the 4 levels of creation. We have Domem, Someach, High, Medaber. Let's start from the high. Medaber means humans. We talk, we communicate. Doesn't matter where you're born. You have a brain, you have the power of speech. We are able to communicate, learn a different language. Then you have animal kingdom. High, the living aspect of the animals. Then we have Someach, the things that flourish, the things that grow, fruits, flowers, trees, vegetables, etc. And then we have Domem. Domem means an inanimate object. You ever go to a bookstore and they sell windows for dummies? Why they call in English a dummy person a dummy? Because that comes from the Hebrew. The word domem, inanimate object. A person that does not utilize the brain that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the person. Every item that exists in the world needs to have a certain revelation of godliness for it to exist. Let's take a look at the tripod or at the cell phone or the recording that is in front of me. As long as Hashem constantly showers upon it, its presence, so this item will remain alive and will live. And that's why there is a Torah prohibition called Bal Tashchit. What's the meaning of Bal Tashchit? The prohibition of a person being wasteful. And we're not even talking about Haz v'Shalom, Ashhatat Zera that we discussed for the past 4 weeks. Wasting seed, God forbid. We're talking about wasting money, wasting food. Destroying a tree is a Torah prohibition. And that's why there is a halakha that if you need to remove a tree, you should not do it. Hire a goy, to hire a third goy will be the best way to do it. But you should never cut down a tree. If it's a not fruit-bearing tree, it's a different story. Because the Torah says it. When the Jewish people go to war, don't kill the tree that's providing you. In English they say, don't bite the hand that feeds you. If the tree is providing fruits, it means that there is a godly presence. That's why I'm taking a detour, but it's important to know, when we wear the talit supposed to cover our body. Many times, unfortunately, people wear the talit as a scarf. Scarf is to protect you from the cold wind. But the proper Kabbalistic message of the talit, the Ben Ish Chai says, is Or Makif, a godly light that surrounds the body of the person by the presence of the mitzvah of the talit. Okay? Nice point. So let's just read quickly, and I need to give a medical disclaimer. What I'm going to say now, it doesn't mean that you have a guaranteed return in these items that we're going to talk about now very quickly. And one thing is that the purpose of reading this is only to increase our emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to understand that Borei Olam talks to us even through the creation of food. And don't stop taking medicines unless the doctor tells you not to take them. But let's read quickly the foods. So we have the food item. Let's start with an easy one. The kidney beans. Why they are called kidney beans? Because they are shaped like the kidney. Avocados. Avocado, if you look at the avocado, it looks like the womb of a wife. Represents the 9 months of pregnancy. The shape, the roundness of the tomato, and the color of the tomato represents the heart of the person. And the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot says, what your wife tells you when you go buy tomatoes to the supermarket? What she tells you, make sure they are ripe. Don't buy me green tomatoes unless she tells you, buy green tomatoes and leave them out of the fridge for a week, right? But what she tells you, make sure they are ready for consumption. This is the left toe of the person. Walnuts. If you look at a walnut, maybe there is some behind you, it looks like the brain of the person. Onion and garlic, they are considered, halachically speaking, davar harif, especially the onions. What is it good for? That harifut of the onion, the acidity of these items, clears the cells of the person. We have cells, white cells, red cells. Those are the only 2 colors we have, right? If you have more than these 2 colors, we're in trouble. The citrus fruit also is good for nursing and healthy lymph nodes. You know, the human body has lymph nodes. We're learning this topic in Hulin, in the Daf Yomi. Like the animals, the re'ot of the animals have lymph nodes, also the body of the person has lymph nodes. And the healthier they are, the healthier the life of the person has. The sweet potatoes is like the pancreas of the body and is beneficial to stabilize the glucose of the body. The olives is actually a pasuk of Tehillim. Banecha kishtile zetim saviv leshulchanecha. The olives are for the health of the ovaries. Healthy ovaries are important. Lo alenu velo alechem. Sometimes there are medical conditions related to that particular part of the body. So what I'm trying to say with this, I still have 6 more. Perhaps next time you eat one of these items, say the beracha properly, and pray to Kadosh Baruch Hu. Help me. You know, somebody asked me the other day, Rabbi, I'm having a lot of headaches. What do I do? So I wish the person refuah shlema. And I said to the person, check mezuzot. Check the mezuzot of your home. Check your husband's tefillin. We're not saying that the solution is on the mezuzot. But we know already for a fact, for many times and many years, that sometimes certain situations are hinted in a problem that the mezuzah has. There was a fellow, true story, that happened in Israel, who was overweight. When I mean overweight, I don't mean 200 pounds. We're talking about 374 pounds. Lo alenu velo alechem, that's sakana nefashot. And the doctor says to him, you need to lose weight. I suggest you to do the bariatric surgery, which again, I'm not endorsing that surgery because it has side effects, and if they tell you that it doesn't have side effects, do your homework. But sometimes a doctor may encourage the person to do this surgery. So this fellow did the surgery, and nothing changed. Finally, he went to his rabbi, and the rabbi said to him exactly, check your mezuzot and the tefillin of the house. The mezuzot of the house. Check the mezuzot, the sofer calls them. Mezuzah from your master bedroom. The pasuk says, Ve'achalta besabata uberachta et Hashem Elokecha. The pasuk in the Ve'achalta besabata ishameru lachem, that's a different pasuk. I apologize for that. In this fellow's tefillin or mezuzah, what the pasuk says, Ve'achalta, ve'achalta. Twice, the pasuk says, Ve'achalta, ve'achalta. Guess what? Guess what?
He fixed it and
He fixed the tefillin, and now he went down to 210. Now, let's clarify what I'm going to say now. I'm not telling you that we're blaming the mezuzah, Haz v'shalom, and we're not blaming the tefillin. But we need to understand that these are mitzvot that exist in our life, and if the mitzvot are kasher, they provide the proper protection and salvation in the life of the person. That's the reason why outside of the mezuzah, you have Hashem's name, Shin Dalet Yod. Why Shin Dalet Yod? Why don't you put Yod Ke Vav Ke, like we saw in the Apple video before? Why don't you put Pe Aleph Yod, Parnasa? Why don't you put 102, Emunah? Why don't you put 112, Yabok? You put Shin Dalet Yod. Because that name, Kabbalistically speaking, is the name of protection for the person inside of the home and outside of the home. There was a story that happened with an Israeli visitor that went to South Africa. I read the story the other day. And unfortunately, lo alenu velo alechem, had a heart attack in the middle of the day. Healthy fellow. Obviously, they took him to the hospital, and the family spoke to the rabbi in Israel, and the rabbi in Israel says, let me check the mezuzot of this fellow. He checks the mezuzah of the main door of the house. What the pasuk says, Ve'avta et Hashem Elokecha, bechol levavecha, ubchol nafshecha, bechol levavecha, double bet. What this mezuzah said? Bechol libbecha. One bet was missing. From which word? The word levavecha. Two hearts. Again, I'm not blaming the mezuzah, but I'm saying that mitzvot that we do on a regular basis, we need to make sure that they are being done in a proper way. For the person asking the question about headaches, I'll do some more research about it. Definitely drinking a lot of water can help. Less stress in life can help. Not eating late at night can help. Avoiding foods that cause inflammation can help. All these are. Acupuncture definitely can help as well. And then we'll think for a couple of spiritual things. The first one that comes to my mind is having positive thoughts. Having good thoughts in the mind, it helps the body to heal. Not only that, with a positive thought, there was a great rabbi by the name of the Tzemach Tzedek. I'm sure you heard of him. And he used to say a statement in Yiddish that says as follows, Tracht gut wird sein gut. For those who understand, in Arabic, I don't know how to say it, but in English it means think positive and things will become positive. The power of the mind is greater than what we think it is. Let's continue. Eating ginger, very healthy for stomach. You have a cold, stomach ache, ginger tea, very known fact. Celery. This reminds me of a story of a new rabbi who established a new tradition in the night of Rosh Hashanah. And the tradition was to have on the Seder table raisins and celery. So they asked him, why do you need to have raisins and celery in Rosh Hashanah? I think we're going to do it next year in Tu Bishvat. It says very simple, to get a raise in the salary. So you have raisin and celery. So in a more serious note, I know you like that. What is the benefit of eating celery?
Okay.
Besides celery, I'm not a doctor. My wife knows much more about nutrition than me, but I'm a good student. It not only contains salt, but is a vegetable that keeps the body very hydrated. It contains a lot of water, but the shape of the celery represents the bone in the legs of the person, the upper bone and the lower bone. And that's what it says here. Eat celery and have kavanah. Borei Olam, give refuah shelema to the legs. Carrots, okay? Carrots, the shape, the eye. Why the eye? Because when you cut the carrot, or when you look at the carrot, it has the orange and the darkness in the center. You slice the carrot and you see like a minuscule eye. And last but not least, figs. What figs good for? We discussed earlier that when you eat a fig or date, special mishmosh, all these items, you need to open them up and make sure that they have no bugs. But ever look at a fig? We have figs there? We had figs today?
There were.
Okay, bring one, please. Thank you so much. We make a live demonstration. And if it's kosher, I'll eat it later. As I said yesterday night, these figs are very fresh. Let me see here, foreign visitor. No. It looks very nice, very clean. Can't see much, it's a thick item. But I'm opening it and looks good. But I want you to look now to the inside of the fig. What do you see? Can the people in the video look at the fig?
Yes.
Seeds.
Yeah.
What did you see? What did you just say? Seeds. You know what is the good for? For fertility and reproduction. That's the walnuts. The walnuts is for the brain. This is for fertility and reproduction. In order to conceive a child, must be a shidduch made between the zera of the man and the ovocyte of the wife. I think that's the proper word, right? Ovaries. But no, but the ovocyte is what comes from the ovaries. Okay? So that shidduch fertilizes and then it becomes a fetus. But sometimes a man, and I hope the ladies don't find it offensive, but it's important to know, a man may have a lot of volume, but not quality of the zera. Right? This is called in English motility, I think. No mortality.
Mobility.
No, mobility is movement. Motility, M-O-T-A. Mortality means, God forbid, when you call the Hevra Kadisha. Mortality or mutality, something like that. It's the concept of mutate, mutation, okay? Mute, no mute. No, mute is when you're supposed to be at home. You're at home, you press the mute button and do a lot of listening. But it says that the segula of the fig is to give the husband good quality zera. And the last one that we have is the grapes. The smallest of the grapes represents the cells. The cluster of the grapes represents the lungs of the person, and the shape of the cluster represents the heart. And again, Rabotai, what I'm trying to highlight for those watching, okay? You see it? Beautiful. What I'm trying to portray is that even something so simple, the way you want to take a picture, get close to it. If not, take a picture from the live paper that is in front of me, will be better. Okay, you can take a picture from here now. Close up, beautiful. Something so physical and so simple, we see Hashem's signature on it. There is much more to say. I did not open up all the books that are in front of me. We have 3 more sources, but I think that for today, we're going to say Dayenu. The main thing of Tu B'Shvat is taking the day of Tu B'Shvat as a reset button. Like we mentioned in the beginning of the class, Rosh Hashanah La'ilanot, we can say also Rosh Hashanah LaBeriot. So if we take the benefit and the blessing and the awesomeness of Tu B'Shvat as a day of reinforcing Berachot, Emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, diligence in our mitzvot, for sure, every word that we said, it brought great amount of beracha in the life of the person. So I'd like to wish everybody to have a very beautiful and joyous Tu B'Shvat, and Be'ezat Hashem, Hashem will send us a beautiful, bountiful season of fruits, vegetables, and everything that a person may need, including obviously Refuah Shelema for all of the Halim Am Israel. Amen.